Ravinder, are you there?
Yes, sir.
सर बात हुई राम सिंह सर से?
सर मैंने मैसेज तो कर दिया था पहले और अभी कॉल
आगे सर ने ज्वाइन कर लिया।
Welcome, sir. Professor Ram Singh, welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very good, very good.
Good to see you, sir, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Always you are available for us. This is a very encouraging news for us. And college is really fortunate that people like you are associated with us.
It's my pleasure, my pleasure, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We will start, sir, in another 5 minutes, sir.
विपिन सर पोर्टल पे डाल दिया लिंक?
Yes, sir. Everywhere is live. Yeah.
So can we start? Yeah, live. After 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Participants have joined in large number, or?
We can see that.
Vipin, can we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then Ashish, go ahead.
Okay. Uh,
Ram, please.
yes. So good morning, everyone. Chief guest, Professor Ram Singh, Principal, Ramanujan College, Dr. S.P. Agarwal, my colleagues and the participants. We welcome you all to this 2-week online faculty development program on quantitative methods for data analysis by Teaching Learning Center, Ramanujan College, along with Research Development and Services Cell at Ramanujan College. This is one of the many online faculty development programs to be held under the Ministry of Human Resource Development sponsored Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching. So coming to the theme of this FDP, as we all may agree that research is a process of investigating and analyzing through proper application of tools, as it facilitates an in-depth understanding of issues and instigates new ideas and developments. Now, given the technological innovations in the last decade, we have seen an expansive transformation in the ways of doing research. We are in the time when data, to use the cliche, is the new oil, thus making it imperative for us as researchers to translate factual figures and numbers into something more valuable. An intersection between humanities and computational technology is pertinent to bring about social values in these factual information that we gather. Using this as a framework, this FDP is an endeavor to bridge this gap between humanities and science by complementing thick data with big data. The emphasis is on the use and application of quantitative and computational methods to make better sense of the information at hand. We have tried to design this course using the insights from humanities and data science. We hope that the course will equip the participants across disciplines with different techniques of data collection, data cleansing, data management, and visualization, and apply these techniques to humanistic questions. On this note, may I please invite Principal and Director, Teaching Learning Center, Ramanujan College, to welcome and address this August gathering.
Thank you, Shipra.
Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to everyone present this morning. Our chief guest for today and keynote speaker, Professor Ram Singh of Delhi School of Economics. My colleague and organizing committee members, basically from economics and statistics department and other colleagues who have associated for organizing this program. And large number of participants, I think about 1100 worthy participants, learned participants who have joined us this morning. Welcome on behalf of Teaching Learning Center, Ramanujan College, Delhi University. Friends, this is, as Shipra told you, 2-week online FDP on quantitative methods for data analysis. Actually, this is our 15th or I don't know, maybe 16th program of online FDPs or online faculty induction programs. And I think we have already trained more than 60,000 teachers. But in data analysis, this is, I think, our third program. Professor Ram Singh is aware of our 2 earlier programs. We started, the first program was on data analysis of research in social sciences, and second was on time series and penal data. And this is the third program, which is again of its unique nature, and basically using R and other techniques like artificial intelligence and machine learning in data analysis. Well, let me tell you that though I'm not an expert in the area, Professor Ram Singh will speak to you on this because he has a lot of inputs on these things. Earlier also, when he has spoke on in these programs, given various ideas to our participants on doing data analysis. My little bit experience, I would go little bit back in 1986 when I went to US for further studies. At that time when I took a course in quantitative methods, we were given this application of SAS and SPSS at that time, way back in 1986. And later on, when I came back, nobody here was knowing these tools, but later on became very popular. But now the technology, have changed so much that all tools are available to all of us all over the world, even much better in India than anywhere else. So this is the power of communication and technology, that now we are not different. We are not separate than anybody else. Now even during this COVID, most of the activities, educational activities, what I mean here is that we are adopting very fast. Most of our universities and institutions are going on online teaching and understanding the value of technology and education, its flexibility and learning spirit. That is very, very important, because the traditional way of teaching will lose its importance in times to come. Now, before I start anything else, a little bit about the institution. As you know, Ramanujan College is a Delhi University maintained, 100% maintained institution, and a very small college in terms of colleges of Delhi University, about 120 staff and 3,000 students. We offer 15 undergraduate honors courses. We are very passionate to be undergraduate institution, because my feeling is that most of the world universities are known by their undergraduate education rather than only the research, PhD or master's education. And now in the new education policy, you can see how much importance has been given to undergraduate education, which is a 4-year kind of situation, and in which the master's program will lose its shine, and more shine will be given to undergraduate degrees. Similarly, we offer 2 BVOC courses, about 10 odd add-on courses to the students to train them in technology and various techniques like data. We have also done 2 programs during this COVID, especially for students. And I tell you, as in faculty development programs, thousands of teachers join. Similarly, in those programs, we receive thousands of students who are being trained in these areas, also in research, data analysis, various other things. The college has about 25 active societies, clubs. We have signed 20 MOUs with professional bodies, industrial bodies, and foreign institutions, very good foreign institutions like MCI Innsbruck in Austria, which is a management school or entrepreneurial school, and another one with Western University of Australia, again a very, very popular school in Australia. And we have 6 advanced research centers. We have 1 journal in UGC care list. We are also planning another one in this institution. We have already filed 1 patent in blockchain technology. The building you can see in the background, we have a state-of-art building, very highly sophisticated modern labs. I can vouch that our labs are the best in Delhi University colleges. We are in the process of setting up artificial intelligence and machine learning center in the college itself. So more research in data analysis can be done, and we welcome all of you to join that endeavor, and we can do joint efforts in these areas. Similarly, about Pandit Madan Mohan Malwa National Mission for Teachers and Teaching, which is a basically benchmark through which we train. This we got about 3 years ago, and let me tell you, in last 3 years, we managed around 30 programs, which were contact programs, I can say classroom-based program, and we could train only 3,000 teachers. But in the last 4 months or 4.5 months, about 15 programs, and we were able to train more than 60,000 teachers. I mean, this is the power of technology. And mainly, you know, the areas of interest of teachers I can tell you, like data. Similarly, we organized online teaching and MOOCs courses, and about 5 of them have received more than 30,000 teachers. And similarly, on research-based courses, you know, these are the very popular, but domain courses like management, like you know, social science courses, very few people are interested. But this is very encouraging that people are diversifying, people are understanding the value of data analysis, people are understanding the value of online education, development of MOOCs. This is highly encouraging. I can also say that this is the golden opportunity for teachers to learn, because we are not, you know, physically going to the institutions, maybe sometimes, but you know, we have a lot of time to analyze, to think, to study, to train. You know, that is the importance. We can learn various tools in teaching pedagogy, research tools, and various ICT tools. You know, I always quote this sentence Harvard University president said, knowledge is currency in 21st century. Well, friends, you know, educational institutions, or all of you and me, can really make a difference in the world economy if we acquire specialized knowledge. See, we are moving towards, like, government is very keen, even in new education policy and otherwise. Our Prime Minister said that we want to be Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now, the question Atmanirbhar is not only that we are self-sufficient. The question is that we should be the world leader. That is the question. Now, to become world leader, we will have to acquire knowledge, transmit knowledge, give the best innovations to the world, and give lot of you know, whether in terms of technology, whether in terms of medical science, whether in terms of manufacturing, we should be the world leader. So unless until our education is modernized, we are the best in education, we cannot do these things. Another important thing, another few minutes I will take, that we need to be proficient or excellent in areas of our interest. Like I can see a young person like Professor Ram Singh, whatever he does, you know, I observe that the area of excellence is very good. So that is what we have to adopt. See, whatever area we have, we should go deeper into this, like our Ramanujan did, like our mathematicians Aryabhatta and Bhaskaracharya did. You know, another important thing I would like to state, that about the data. See that you know, we always see that numbers, when we talk of numbers, we always talk of infinity, and numbers lead us to the infinity. Similarly, if data taken in large numbers and analyzed properly, analyzed and interpret properly, this can lead to God. That is my you know, feeling, that because we can accurately predict each and everything, whether it is COVID, whether it is you know, various economic aspects, various statistical aspects, various other aspects. If data is properly analyzed, interpreted, and collected, then things can be very, very easier, and we can do a lot of planning, policy planning, economic planning, monetary planning, all kind of plannings can be done. In this course, you all know that we are going to emphasize on R, time series. They are going to touch on machine learning, deep learning, and artificial intelligence. And you know, in data, we have been doing the courses on other applications also, like we have already done on SPSS, eViews, and time series, various other applications. So what I feel is that in today's world, we have to concentrate on artificial intelligence and machine learning for data analysis, which is very, very important, easier, much easier. Like I can give an example, that very simple example, which all of you know, that in probability, when we say that if I toss a coin, you know, the probability of head or tail is 0.5. Now, see, this is how we have reached to this situation. See, it is not that if you toss a coin 10 times, 100 times, it may not be 50-50. But if you lead it to 1,000 times, lakhs of time, probably it will be 50-50. So that is what, you lead to right kind of, prediction by doing the data analysis. So with this, once again, thank you very much to Professor Ram Singh for my colleagues organizing such a wonderful program, and to the participants who always encourages us to do these kind of programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for setting up the motivating pitch for the next 2 weeks. It is indeed an honor to have Professor Ram Singh as the chief guest of our session. Professor Ram Singh is with Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi. He completed his doctorate from JNU and postdoctorate from Harvard University. Professor Singh's research interests majorly are in law and economics, public economics, and contract theory. Professor Ram Singh is a recipient of Fulbright, Commonwealth, Erasmus Mundus, and Ronald Coase Fellowship in Economics. He has taught at DSC, Brown University, University of Hamburg, Jawaharlal Nehru University, and is a Commonwealth Fellow at London School of Economics. He is also a co-editor of Indian Economic Review. Sir, it is indeed a pleasure and an honor to have you with us. We look forward to hearing from you. Professor Ram Singh, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Bhavna. Honorable Principal of Ramanujan College, Sri Agarwal ji. Colleagues from the college, Sipra Yadav, Ravindra Mena, and other colleagues, and dear participants. I am very happy to be able to spend some time with you talking about some themes, some issues around which this course is organized, or put it another way, I will take some of the issues that will be covered in this program during next 2 weeks, and will try to underline the importance of data analysis and tools and techniques that technology offers today. But before I set out, let me check a few things related to logistics. I can see that you perhaps can't see me clearly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, I can't help it because I'm at the moment I'm speaking from a village.
Oh, okay.
I was out to do some field work,
Okay.
and this request came from Ramanujan College, and it's difficult to turn down request coming from honorable principal, because the main reason is that he is so much dedicated, enthusiastic about enriching human capital of teachers, not only within his college and at Delhi University, but teaching community throughout the country. And I am always happy to be a part of that. This is my way of appreciating the services that honorable principal is exercising to this country, the college, and the colleagues from college are doing to this country. So I could not say no, but this comes at a cost, in the sense that the visibility is not great. It's partly I'm working with this data. It's at times it switches between 3G and 4G. Hopefully, Indian villages will also have 5G sometime down the line. But today we will have to manage with 3G data.
Sure, sir. No problem. We can
I
hear
hope
you clearly.
you can hear me okay, even if you
Yes,
can't see me clearly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So the investment that the college is making in enhancing human capital of teachers is of great importance to our country. I believe we have not invested enough in our students, in our teachers, in our education system. Government has acknowledged nth number of times when it released a new education policy that we need to increase investment in education up to 6% of GDP. This is something we should have been doing 6 decades ago. But we are still talking about 6% investment, 6% of GDP investment in education. I hope that will happen soon. In the meanwhile, we can keep on investing in education by investing in human capital of our teachers. And courses like this are of great importance, are direct investment to human capital of teachers. As human capital of teachers improves, so does the quality of research, so does the teaching we do in classes. And in this entire process, the direct beneficiary will be our students. So this is a great way, a very effective investment in our education system. Now, on a related note, I observe a reluctance in teaching community among some researchers also to engage in data analysis. This problem is especially acute in social sciences and also in arts and humanities broadly defined. And in my opinion, a reluctance or aversion to data analysis, aversion to providing empirical content to research is somewhat unfortunate. Why I say so? If we bring our arguments, our theory, our ideas to data, in that process, that is a reality check for our ideas, for the theory that we may be contemplating in our mind, in our research papers, theories we may be talking about in classrooms. If we take it to data, that is a very good reality check. Not only that, in the process, when we take our ideas, our theories, and subject them to empirical testing, so in the process, our ideas sharpen, our theory is adapted, and it becomes a richer theory. It can explain more social, economic, scientific phenomenon around us. So given the importance of the feedback mechanism between pure theory, devoid of empirical content on one hand, and empirical analysis on the other hand, I think together they will enrich the theory as well as empirical analysis. And those of you who have, actually all of you have volunteered for such a course. It shows that it's a good news. It shows that you are open to exploring, bringing in empirical dimension to your studies, your research. I have learned from the organizers that the participants in this course come from different disciplines. You come from arts, humanities, sciences, and in some cases management and other disciplines. This is great news. It shows that the openness about empirical analysis, about learning about data analysis is going beyond sciences, is going beyond economics. That is something is something we should treasure. I also believe that in the process, if you spend this during whatever you learn during next 2 weeks, if you retain that by way of practicing some of it in your research or in your teaching, you will find that that your teaching will also improve. You will be able to bring in more insights in teaching by drawing up the insights you get from data analysis. And in the process, the teaching improves, the research improves, and when you write research, your research will have better policy implications. You will be able to relate better and communicate better with the policymakers in this country. And in the process, we would be as teachers and researchers, we owe this to our students, our country, our policymakers. We need to enrich policymaking processes in our country by doing research. Not only, so some of us do excellent research, but they stop there. They do not take the extra step of communicating research findings, research ideas to policymakers. A course like this will be crucial step that will help us bridge the gap between research and its communication to policymakers. We should take that added step and communicate, enrich policymaking in the process. It also enables us to achieve something that Dr. Agarwal talked about, namely that we should have our areas of excellence. There should be areas of expertise for each one of us, and it's possible. Each one of us, if we choose so, we can have our areas of excellence, experts, where we know most about that particular area. We can engage in informed and educating debates, discussion with the others. So while data analysis, learning about data analysis can make all this possible, today some new challenges have appeared on the horizon. And one of the challenge is that there are new technologies that can be used for data analysis. On one hand, new technology, new ICTs, something we call big data. On one hand, they represent opportunities to do better research, to communicate research better with policymakers. They offer these opportunities. At the same time, they also offer challenges. To be able to work with big data, we should be familiar with the ICT. We should also need to learn some programming language like R. I'm happy to note that organizers have decided to dwell on R as a programming language as a tool of data analysis. So there are opportunities, but the challenge is that we need to familiarize ourselves with ICT techniques. We need to invest in learning some programming skills. But good thing is that it is possible. It is not difficult to do so. All that is needed is my colleagues coming from economics and otherwise also, there is a concept of fixed cost versus marginal cost. By fixed cost, in this context would mean that a cost that you incur once, and that is a substantial cost. But after you have incurred this cost, then your additional cost, marginal cost, that becomes very small. That logic applies aptly here. If you invest in programming skills like R, that would mean you would have spent 2 weeks learning about these skills, these tools, practicing with them, and maybe another week or 2 after this program is over. So that would be your fixed cost. It may appear costly, and it is costly, but its rewards are really more than commensurate. So such tools can enable you to do research that you were able to do so far, but way more than that, and much more efficiently than is possible with the traditional empirical econometric packages. So it's a very good choice for you to have opted for this course. And I again compliment organizers to have designed the course like the way they have. Together, the programming technique and big data, they offer new research opportunities. They also offer opportunities to make our research rigorous, robust, and directly communicate, directly feed into policy making. Let me take a few examples from big data. And in the process, let me give you flavor of what big data is all about. So big data, as the name suggests, is a data that is really, where observations are really large in millions, times in trillions. That's one characteristic of big data. Other characteristic of big data is that it is amenable to machine learning. So to take example, if you think of transport network in a city, in your district, in your state, So transport networks, one small road feed into big roads feed into national highways, and then national highways integrate with our railway network. Together they integrate with the airport and port networks. So point is that transport infrastructure is multinodal. And one of the policy challenge for us is how to make our transport infrastructure more efficient. Our roads are congested, our ports are clogged, our railways are inefficient. As a result, the transportation cost, logistics cost for Indian exporters, Indian producers is as much as 40% higher. I'm giving you conservative estimate, 40% higher than several other developing countries. And it is several hundred times higher compared to developed countries. How do we improve our infrastructure network? The big data can help in the process. For example, all of us or most of us, when we drive or when we take a bus ride, railway ride, we use mobile phones. At times we use apps like a Google Map or other map. The data, so while these apps offer great service to us, but they offer services that remain untapped. Collecting the information about how many people travel on a particular intersection at what time, we can identify the congestion points. We can also identify, it's also easily identify the effect of that congestion on time, effect of that congestion on the petrol, diesel that's spent. And it is also then possible to identify how we can rearrange our intersections so that the total travel time comes down, travel distance comes down. And how do we, so that's possible by using data that gets generated by when we use mobile. It's possible to do so drawing upon help data that is generated by Google Map, other maps. And in some cases, when new car comes, the car themselves will be generating data. So this is one example where big data can be used to improve transport infrastructure and in the process enhance competitiveness of our economy. And as our competitiveness improves, so we will be a step closer to our dream of becoming self-reliant Atmanirbhar Bharat. But to be able to work with this data, notice when you use data used by mobile subscribers, by people who use apps, these data are generated and stored in trillions of gigabytes. So it's at times it's not simply possible with the standard econometric techniques to work with such data. The machine learning comes in handy. A similar logic, I will draw one more example. Actually, I can cite several examples where big data and machine learning can help our economy, our society. The other example, recently we saw when COVID started, then many migrant workers, they left the cities and they cycled, walked hundreds of kilometers, in some cases thousands of kilometers. On one hand, something very unfortunate was going on. People were hungry, thirsty. They were having to walk in scorching sun. At the same time, government didn't know how to reach out to them to help directly. I mean, so you may think that, what's the big deal? It's a big deal when you actually have to reach out, when you actually want to deliver money to them, when you actually want to deliver food to them. The logistics are demanding. More than logistics, we didn't know how many migrant workers are moving in what direction to which direction. But if we can use, so these days, fortunately, most Indians have mobile phone. And as you use mobile phone, then as you move from point A to point B, you generate information. So that time when migrant workers were moving away from cities back to their native villages and places, they were generating information about how many people are migrating from one place to other. And in the process, something more interesting was happening. Those people were generating information about Indian poor. In our country, we have estimates of poor, but we have been struggling to identify poor precisely. Who is poor, who is not? It has been a struggle, but big data can make that possible. Big data can make us identify our poor better and help them better if government chooses to do so, and if researchers like us invest in this in such processes. So and R is so let me now talk a little bit about R and machine learning. So I said one characteristic of big data is that it's amenable to machine learning. Allow me to, are you able to hear me all right?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect, sir.
So when I talked about using data generated by mobile phones, generated by apps like Google App, some of you may feel agitated that, I don't want to share my mobile data. Some of you may feel agitated that I don't want to use the Google data that gets generated when I use the app when you drive. It is possible to preserve your privacy and at the same time use the data generated by mobile phones, Google apps, and several other apps for larger benefit of society, of the economy. So when I said we can use data, I didn't mean that we should use identity. For the policy purpose, for economic analysis purpose, it is not important to know that Dr. Ram Singh traveled from Panipat to, let's say, Delhi, or Dr. Agarwal traveled from Gurgaon to Delhi. What we are interested in for our purpose is that how many individuals traveled from Gurgaon to Delhi, what time, what intersections they used, what mode of transportation they used. That is what all that is needed. And it is always possible to divide data into that is personalized versus that is anonymized data. So we can work with anonymized data and reach a big dividend. Anonymized data is, and as a quick aside, your Aadhaar data also has two components. There's a personalized data, which is biometric, that has your finger impression, thumb impression, and other is anonymized data, where you reveal last 3 or 4 or 5 digits of your Aadhaar number. So it's possible to work with anonymized data so that their personal security, privacy concerns are respected. At the same time, we draw rich dividend from big data. And big data, I think today, one of the speakers before me, it was Bhavna or Ms. Yadav, who mentioned that it's a new oil of this century. I would say it's better than new oil. Oil, coal, they're exhaustible resources. But big data is not. More you use of big data, better your research gets, better your policy gets, and in the process you generate more data. So rather than oil, it is actually, if you would like, it's like sunlight. You can keep on using it, but you don't exhaust it. So it's something that is highly valuable, and we can make best use of it by using tools like R. How much time do I have? Can you give me some sense of?
Sir, maybe another 10-15 minutes.
Okay, that's
Yes.
perfect. That's it. That should be enough. Now, when you in this course, you will be taught programming by way of R. R is I do not know much about R. I know little bit about R, but you will learn about this tool in great detail. But you will need a few things. You will, when you learn this program, in the process, you will also learn few more things. And actually, if you want to make best use of this program, you should, from today onward, you should invest a little bit in learning some logical nomenclatures, language of logic. So when we say A or B, a person A or person B, in day-to-day language, its meaning of the sentence, a person A or person B, or let's say Delhi or Gurgaon, the meaning of this sentence is different from a meaning of the same sentence in a logically tight language. For this program, you will be using logically tight language. So today, after this program gets over, I suggest that you spend some little time. These days, you can find a lot of resources online. So familiarize yourself with the meaning of statements like A or B, A and B. When these combined statements are true, when they are not. So this is something you will be learning. And if you learn already, then you will get more you will learn more about R. Other thing about R is that the most wonderful thing about this program is that it's open access. You don't have to, you can work with it wherever you are. You don't need to pay a license fee. You don't need to subscribe to it. And there's a large number of researchers who contribute to development of this program. If you get stuck while working with this program, there are forums you can use. You can post your problem, your query, and generally people come forth to explain things to you. So, and you learn as you go. Then it brings in efficiency in statistical econometric analysis. In traditional and economic packages, you have to, if you want to replicate one set of commands with a different data set, you have to set up the entire data set, the entire package all together again. But here you can you learn language, and by learning language, you will be able to replicate results from one context to the other context without much of additional effort. You will not have to put in efforts twice over, thrice over. Other thing that is important, I believe is extremely important, is that if we do empirical research, be it in the context of clinical trials, medical sciences, be it in the context of computational physics, be it economics, be it sociology, political science, and for that matter, literature or law. In all these, for all these subjects, we can engage in empirical analysis. And one thing that I feel is very important is that when we write a paper based on empirical analysis, we should be able to, anybody who is reviewing your work, critiquing your work, should be able to replicate the results you have got. This exercise is extremely easy if you know R. If you are reviewing somebody's paper and the author has used programming R, then you can easily check, or other people can check that your results are indeed true. So this brings authenticity, credibility to your work, and it brings in efficiency. Finally, I would like to make some points about causal analysis and precision analysis. R and any other econometric statistical package, they are tools. They are tools, and with tools we can do whatever we choose to do. The efficacy of a tool depends on human innovation also. How effectively, with what perspective we are using those tools. Even though advances in machine learning are really surprising, admirable. But machine learning in a foreseeable future is not going to replace human learning or human knowledge or ingenuity of humanity, human knowledge. The point I want to make is that for us to be able to use these tools, statistical packages effectively, we ourselves should be very clear about the relevant concepts. we should be very clear about the econometric ideas, the logic that is driving us to use a particular package, that is driving us to use a particular data set. I want to take an example from clinical trials, and this example is used very, what I'm going to talk about is relevant to what is called randomized control trial. Randomized control trials are used in labs. They are used in clinical trials. They are used by many economists. Using one component of RCT, I want to make a point. So let's see if I can make that point. That will depend on whether you can see my slides or not. So I will try to share my screen and we will see if where that takes us. Host disabled participant screening share. So host, will you please allow me to share my screen? Will that be possible?
Yes, sir.
Shipra ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Bipin sir. Bipin sir.
Hello.
So please wait for 2 minutes. Bipin sir,
Okay.
allow.
Sure. So while we wait for 2 minutes, if there are,
So you
let me
can
then
share now.
say,
So you can
while
share
we
it.
wait for 2 minutes, I can say a few words about machine learning, or if we are ready to share the screen, I can go directly.
We are ready, sir. We are ready.
Perfect. You don't still see, you still see me.
No, we can see your screen, sir.
Oh, fantastic. What do you see for my benefit? Will you please?
How do randomized control
Very good.
trials work?
Very good. Just a second. Let me now.
And very clear, sir. Screen is very clear.
That is wonderful. Slideshow. I want to. If anybody can help me, how should I want to make it full screen.
So you can click on from the
There's
current slide.
Oh, yeah, yes, I remember. Got it.
Yeah.
Can you see it on full screen now?
Sure, sir.
Yes.
All right. So this is fantastic. I will draw from context of RCT, randomized control trial. But what I'm going to say here is relevant for economists. It's relevant for biologists, chemists, physicists, and whoever engages in empirical analysis. So these days, our attention is caught up with COVID and vaccine, whether vaccine is coming on the horizon soon or not. So let's use the context. Think of a set of researchers or a pharmaceutical firm who is hoping to market a vaccine, a new drug, or instead of drug, you can think of a vaccine. Now, so suppose there's a company, a group of scientists have come out with a vaccine, and they want to test it. So several companies have moved to the third stage of testing vaccine, its efficacy. Now, suppose we are at third stage. It doesn't matter. You think of any drug or any vaccine. What we want to know is whether this drug or vaccine is effective on what it is, what we expect from it. So, in particular, what we expect is improved health or safe health safety. That is what we expect from a vaccine or from a drug. Now, you think of any drug, its effect on health. It directly affects health, but in any situation, any drug or a vaccine is not the sole factor that affects our health. Our health depends on the medicine, drug, or vaccine. It also depends on our food intake, our innate ability of human body to fight against viral and bacterial attacks and other attacks, right? So in other words, what we are saying is that what we observe, so in any situation of scientific inquiry, economic inquiry, what we observe is the final outcome, the health status, whether somebody contracted COVID or not. That is an outcome, that is health condition. It depends what are its determinants, whether you have been vaccinated or not, whether you eat healthy food or not, whether you obey safety protocol or not. Several factors go into determining our health condition, our health status. So what we observe is health status, but it is combined sum of several factors. Question is, how do we identify efficacy of a drug, of a vaccine? How do we know whether it's effective and how much effective it is? So this situation, let me simplify it extremely, as simple as I could make it. Think of, so here, Y, if you can bring your attention to the cursor, Y, capital Y, subscript I, it stands for health condition of ith individual.
Right.
On right hand side, there is a T, TI, T stands for treatment or vaccination. So if T is 1, that would mean that the ith person has been vaccinated. Ith person has been vaccinated if T is equal to 1. And suppose the ith person has been vaccinated, T becomes 1, then beta I is efficacy of vaccine, of drug on this person I.
Correct.
Of course, if TI is 0, that person is not vaccinated, is not given drug, then it becomes 0, and clearly we don't expect any effect of vaccination drug on that person, ith person. Then suppose for simplicity, there is only one more factor that has bearing on health condition. In real world, there are many factors, but here for the ease of exposition, suppose there's only one more factor, you can say that it's your diet, or you can think of this as your age. So age is a crucial determinant how vulnerable you are to COVID. So you can think of X as age. So in this simple setting, your health status depends on how old you are and whether you have been vaccinated or not. This is actually the setting of any clinical trial. So BI, beta, is the effect of treatment on person I. If treated, TI becomes 1, otherwise T is 0. So if you are treated, if ith person is treated, what will your health status look like? I about ith person, and 1 stands for that ith person has been treated. So then her health status will become beta I plus the effect of age. Okay, all right. Now the problem is, in any clinical trial, we want to know beta, the efficacy of drug on person I. But what we observe is Y. Y is sum total of beta plus X, effect of X. And if Y is 10, if Y is 10, then you can have infinitely many combination of beta and X that will together add up to 10. Point I want to make is, looking at Y itself, it is not possible to draw plausible inferences about efficacy, effectiveness of a drug. So how do we go about it? Can we be sure about effectiveness of a drug? My response is, it depends. In some situations, it is possible. What are those situations where we can know about effectiveness of a drug, even though we do not observe effectiveness directly? By observing Y only, in some situations, we can identify effect of drug precisely. What are those situations? Those are some unique situations. You think of N, suppose all Indians are N in number. This is more than 130 crores. And I denote that population by capital N. Capital N is the entire population of our country. So suppose before vaccination is done, there's no beta, T is 0. Therefore, our health status is determined only by our age in this simple situation. But now suppose everybody has been injected, has been injected with vaccine. Everybody. It's crucial to note that everybody, every Indian has been vaccinated. In that case, our health status, if you are person, ith person, your health status will change from this level YI0. 0, you were without vaccination. It will now change to YI1 because now you have been vaccinated. So a beta I has entered in your health status. Okay? We do not know beta I, but still we will be able to derive it. So what do? We add this term. We add health status of all Indians before vaccination. Meaning thereby, are you still able to see the cursor, the slides?
Yes, sir.
If
Yes,
we
sir.
add this for all Indians, this is the term we will get. So before vaccination, our health status will add up to this. It's given by right-hand side here. And after every single Indian has been vaccinated, and if we add our health status, it will add up to this term. What we now do is we now divide this term by n. This will give us average health status before vaccination. If we divide this after health status with n, that will give us average health status of Indian after vaccination. And the difference will be, so Y bar denotes the average health status after vaccination. Y bar not gives health status before vaccination. The difference between the two, if you do simple computation, difference between the two is nothing but it's the average of effects at individual level.
Yeah.
So the difference between the two is average of effect of vaccination. So meaning thereby, if we can vaccinate everybody, if we can cover population, our data is big enough that it covers the entire population, then we can draw plausible statistical inferences even about things that we can't observe directly. And big data allows us to go from sample to entire population. Therefore, big data along with machine learning allows us to draw plausible inferences about society, about things that are not observable directly. But this logic, I would like to point out that perhaps I should stop here unless there are questions or requests. However, for my arguments to be true, it is crucial that you deal with either the entire population, or if you are working with sample, then your sample should be large, and you keep in mind various issues that are involved in research. So to sum up my discussion, that using statistical tools, using packages like R, working with big data, and learning the subjects like relations, causation, econometric tools, we can have enriching, fulfilling, and socially useful research. I hope you learning experience. I'm sure you will have great learning experience. I urge you to make best use of it. I wish you the very best during this program and in your subsequent teaching and research lives. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir. Can we have some questions, please, Ravindra?
Yes, sir. So this session was live, so I think we can take it from there.
Vipin, can we have some questions from YouTube if you have any?
Not now.
Okay. So, sir, thank you very much. I think excellent presentation. I have learned a lot about big data and R. The way you started with big data and technology and then explained with examples, that is really motivating to us, because application part is extremely important. You started with traffic data, then you talked about the large amount of data both in traffic, transport, and then with clinical trials, and then the importance of machine learning with big data. And the last example was excellent. I could understand how clinical trials could take place, and the way we can unite together economists, statisticians, and the medical professionals, and then can reach to the right conclusions. So I believe that our participants must have been benefited a lot. That was our purpose, and this presentation will set a tone for our 2-week course. And we would like you to be associated with us in future programs, as well in some of the live lectures where we can take some questions from the participants. Today we have not planned in that way. I think this was the inauguration, so we could not plan that way. Otherwise we would take a lot of questions from the participants so that they can be benefited. Thank you very much. Over to Meena.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Agarwal. Pleasure. And again, sorry about the inconvenience about visibility.
No, sir, it was perfect. Screen sharing was good, and your voice was very clear. So no problem of visibility, I can say, wherever you are.
Thank you so much, sir. We would like to thank Professor Ram Singh for being generous enough for promptly agreeing to our invite and taking out time for the inaugural. Sir, your words were extremely insightful and motivating as we are now to begin with our faculty development program. Thank you so much, sir. We are also grateful for the supervision of our principal, Dr. Agarwal sir, in organizing the 2-week FDP. And most importantly, we are thankful to the participations for the zeal of continuous learning. Before we leave, there are a few things we would like for our dearest participants to inform them. Dear participants, kindly take note of these instructions to be followed during the program. Number 1, feedback form should be filled on the daily basis. Number 2, you may access the course at any time in the day, but you are required to submit assignments and quizzes as per the deadline. Please do read the instructions related to the file name of the assignments and uploading the assignments. All assignments are to be uploaded in the course portal only. Number 3, any queries pertaining to the course must be posted in the discussion forum. Number 4, we will not be responsible for any issue relating to the internet connectivity. Number 5, we request you to monitor the Telegram group regularly. All the information from now on will be related to the FDP will be available there. Number 6, for any issues, please email us to fdpresearch@ramanujan.du.ac.in. And finally, the eligibility criteria for the certificate. It is required for a participant to submit all the quizzes and score a minimum of 40% in these quizzes, and also at least 90% of the assignments should be submitted to avail the program completion certificate. The decisions of the organizing committee would be final in every respect. Thank you. You may start with the content of your very first day. Happy learning.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.